Welcome to Purple Nerd Channel, a home for all those who love to geek out on all things Prince related. Wendy and Lisa, a group composed of Wendy Melvoin and Lisa Coleman, are most famous for being members of Prince's band The Revolution. Both of their fathers were in a group of session players called the Wrecking Crew. The Wrecking Crew played and performed in several different genres of music, those being everything from jazz to classical music, folk music, pop, and even rock. They played on over 300 songs that made it in the top 40 and over 100 songs that made it in the top 10. Recording and working with all kinds of different artists, from Frank Sinatra to Ike and Tina to Fifth Dimension and Glenn Campbell, to name a few. So to say that Wendy and Lisa grew up around music would be an understatement. Wendy's twin sister Susanna is also a singer-songwriter and was also in one of Prince's bands, that being The Family, which later on would reunite as F Deluxe. Lisa's sister, Cole Inda, is a classically trained musician. Wendy's brother Jonathan was a musician for the band Smashing Pumpkins. In 1973, Jonathan actually got his start in the world of music with Lisa Coleman and her sisters, as they were all in a band called Waldorf Salad. Lisa was only 12 years old and Jonathan was 13. In 1980, Lisa was working as an intern for Prince's manager's personal assistant when they got news that Prince was looking for a replacement for his keyboardist Gail Chapman, who had just recently quit the band. With some encouragement from Prince's manager, she went ahead and auditioned, getting the job. Wendy would join Prince's band a year later when Des Dickerson, his touring band guitarist, was late for rehearsal, and Prince went ahead and called Wendy in to fill in. Prince knew Wendy was a guitarist, as he would always hear her play when he would crash at Wendy and Lisa's place in LA. Wendy worked so well with the band that Prince went ahead and hired her on full time when Des Dickerson left. The new lineup would be called Prince and the Revolution and be credited as such on the next 3 albums that Prince would release. Wendy and Lisa are credited as co-writers on the song Computer Blue from Purple Rain. They also did background vocals and played on 5 of the 9 songs off of Purple Rain. Wendy and Lisa's presence became more noticeable on the next 2 releases from Prince and the Revolution, those being Around the World in a Day and Parade, as Wendy and Lisa were like muses to Prince, introducing him to different sounds and instruments and different ways to arrange songs and orchestration. This would lead up to them working with Prince on a project called Dream Factory. Prince would end up scrapping the project Dream Factory, removing all of the input and performances from Wendy and Lisa, and reworking the songs and adding them to the triple LP known as Crystal Ball that would eventually get trimmed down to a double LP called Sign of the Times. The rest of the Revolution were starting to notice the tension in the band, specifically between Prince and Wendy and Lisa, as they were really butting heads creatively, and everyone pretty much knew that an end to Prince and the Revolution was inevitable. After the last show of the Parade tour, which ended with Prince symbolically smashing a guitar on stage, Prince would disband the Revolution, firing Wendy and Lisa. Prince told them simply, "You just can't go where I want to musically." With no hesitation, the duo started searching for their own record deal, signing with Columbia Records, and almost immediately they started working on their debut album, writing, producing, arranging, and performing the album primarily by themselves, with a few family members stopping by, and Bobby Z from the freshly disbanded Revolution co-producing the album and co-writing 5 of the songs. Wendy and Lisa's self-titled album was released August 24th, 1987, peaking at number 88 on Billboard's Top 200 and number 84 in the UK. 3 singles were released: Waterfall, peaking at number 56 in the US, Sideshow, peaking at number 40 in the UK, and Honeymoon Express, which did not chart. Videos were released for Sideshow, Honeymoon Express, and Waterfall. As a complete surprise to many when this album first came out, this album does not sound like a Prince and the Revolution album whatsoever, as they completely divorced themselves of the funk rock sound that they did previously with Prince. Instead, we get an album that is very laid back and relaxing at times. Even on an upbeat song, it still has a very mellow vibe to it. The songs have multiple layers of melodies and lots of different instrumentation, but is all perfectly arranged. This album really shows off of where they are trying to go with Prince musically, and Prince wasn't wanting to go that route whatsoever, as the album Sign the Times that was released after the disbanding of the Revolution has a much more stripped down sound to it, slightly less polished, and at times a little bit more on the darker side. To further explain, let me go ahead and dive into this project. Honeymoon Express was not only co-written by Bobby Z, but also co-written by Wendy's sister Susanna. This laid-back groove explains that if we want to get the heat back in our relationship, we need to go back to doing the things that got us hot in the first place. Sideshow continues with another chorus that you just can't get out your head, as Wendy is telling everyone that maybe you should not be focused on dating the ordinary, but maybe looking for dating someone in the extraordinary. Waterfall, a song that warns us about those people that are always bringing you down and how to avoid those waterfalls. Stay, baby, stay. Stay, our first ballad that actually starts off with a drum beat that sounds very similar to the Beautiful Ones. In the song, they specifically reference a bad 3-year relationship that they wanted to stay with, but they just had to leave. And it makes me wonder if, like, secretly they're actually talking about Prince, as they did release 3 Revolution albums. White is our instrumental on the album, with Tom Scott on the saxophone. And if I'm being honest, this really sounds like nothing more than hold music. Fortunately, Blues Away picks the album back up with a really nice blues riff. The song features Lisa's sister, Cole Inda, on vocals. This is just another song about. Song About is a song about their falling out with Prince. The lyrics are very clever in their metaphors as they go through the story of them being fired after the parade tour, at the end of the parade, and how the fallout started with the Dream Factory project. Chance to Grow is another song that could possibly be about Prince, as they question how can anyone ever succeed when you won't even give them the chance to grow. This is the life. The Life was co-written by Chris Bell and was later reworked in the late 90s and retitled This Is the Life, and featured on the soundtrack to the movie Dangerous Minds. The soundtrack was a major success, peaking at #1 on Billboard's Top 200 and selling over 3 million copies during its initial release. This is the life. This is the life. This is my... Everything But You is a family affair, with Lisa's dad Gary on congos and Wendy's brother Jonathan on percussion, with her sister Susanna doing background vocals. I'll take everything but you. The song is actually about their love for each other, as they were actually a couple during the recording of this project. We close out the album with the song Light, a song that could be considered a keep up the good fight type of anthem. I am completely shocked that this album did not sell better than it did. I mean, it's coming right off of Parade, which was a very successful project, and Wendy and Lisa were all over the publicity and in all the videos. Plus, Prince's album Sign the Times came out during the release of this album, and ex-Prince artists always do well sales-wise when they have an album out when Prince has an album out, as they kind of pick up off his promotion. Plus, the Wendy and Lisa Revolution fan base is a super dedicated fan base. These are the same type of fans that say that Prince was nothing before he met Wendy and Lisa, and that his music suffered after they left. Which makes me wonder, where was this aggressive mob when this album came out? Thank you again for joining me on the channel. Please like and share this video as much as possible. And as always, please subscribe to the channel. I will see you on the next episode where I go and dive into Wendy and Lisa's second album. And until the next episode, I wish you heaven.